Well, there were a lot more dangerous moments with the police chase and shootout Tuesday near Dallas Love Field than we first realized.
The Dallas police chief released dash cam and body camera video today. You saw that close call at the intersection for one thing. Here's Fox 4's Sean Rabb with more of that video. Sean.
Now, Steve, this is the 5th Dallas officer-involved shooting this year, and the man who took police on this high-speed, nearly catastrophic chase has a long criminal record and outstanding warrants on Tuesday. Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia says by this man's actions, it's clear he did not want to go back to prison.
Hit one vehicle.
This is the dynamic crash.
Wrecked out, just wrecked out.
Full-speed run. And shootout between 5-year officer Keenan Craven and 41-year-old Ryan Taylor.
We were fortunate that we did not lose an officer that day. But these are the types of calls that our brave men and women face each day. It is their reality.
A reality that began Tuesday when police say Taylor, in a stolen U-Haul, made the undercovers watching him, ramming their vehicle in the 9600 block of El Centro Drive, Northwest Dallas, 11:12 a.m.
Uniform officers attempted to stop Taylor, but he sped away on side streets and onto the Dallas North Tollway.
Southbound and flooring it on the tollway, playing a frightening game of bumper cars, hitting drivers left and right.
There was no reason, as you look at that video, for him. He had plenty of roadway to move around them. That was intentional to some way try to stop our officers' pursuit.
13 travelers were hit by the U-Haul, unnerved but not seriously hurt. As the U-Haul jumps off the tollway at Wycliffe, a horrific tragedy avoided, literally by inches. Watch as a dark bus barely misses hitting the barreling U-Haul.
Oh my God!
That could have been real bad. I mean, when we talk about someone driving with disregard for human life, you just witnessed it right there.
In the 7200 block of Lemon, the last crash, across the median into oncoming traffic. The U-Haul, no match for a tree. Then it's a foot race. Officer Craven racing to catch Taylor as he runs into an open bay door of a private hangar at Love Field. Taylor turns and fires twice. Officer Craven responds with a barrage of bullets.
I mean, you saw bravery at its finest right there. For him to have ran after him, take his shots, strike the suspect, you know, he did a fantastic job.
The 41-year-old with 10 previous criminal charges is down, hit in the leg. The gun he used to fire at officers recovered and had been reported stolen. After being shot at, police put a tourniquet to stop the blood flow. The real-life drama coming to an end at 11:25, 13 terror-filled minutes.
I commend our Northwest officers. This is exactly what our city and our community and our neighborhoods want our men and women to do.
And now Ryan Taylor is still in the hospital. He will be at some point taken to jail. He'll face a whole host of charges and could, if the district attorney decides, also face attempted capital murder for shooting at a police officer.
Police investigating the murder of an attorney from Saginaw.
Police at first thought she suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but later figured out the man who called to report it is her suspected killer. Fox 4's Jan Anglin joining us now with the very latest in this case. Dion.
Hi there, Heather. Well, her colleagues and the family of Kimberly Knapp are today expressing sadness. Meantime, police in Saginaw are continuing the investigation surrounding the man who they say killed her. 46-year-old Kimberly Knapp was known as a passionate and thorough defense attorney in Tarrant County. The network of lawyers who knew her and many in the legal community are coping with her sudden death and developing details of the arrested man, Rance Magby, who police say killed her.
It's a shock that I won't see her down there anymore.
Lee Davis is president of the Tarrant County Criminal Defense Lawyers Association, where Knapp was a member. Davis is not in any way involved with Knapp's death investigation, but he says simply the legal community will greatly miss her.
She was always enthusiastic. You know, she was always somebody that always came in wanting to work hard, wanting to do well for her clients.
Saginaw police say Magby was arrested 12 hours after he called 911 on Monday night around 10 o'clock. And they say Magby suggested Knapp had shot herself. Police and paramedics responded to the home on Lottie Lane in Saginaw to what was at first considered a victim with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Investigators say Knapp was discovered on a bed with a single gunshot wound to the chest. She was rushed to JPS Hospital but died a short time later. Police confirmed Knapp and Magby were romantically involved, but no other details have been released. Knapp's family on Thursday issued a statement. Our hearts are shattered by the sudden and senseless loss of our precious Kim. Nothing will ever replace her beautiful smile, sharp and funny wit, and the wonderful way she made us feel. We love you, Kim, always and forever, and will not rest until justice is done. Knapp, originally from Oklahoma, earned her law degree from Baylor University and had for years considered Tarrant County home.
It's something to, have your friend just taken away with no notice, no expectation, and then in these kind of circumstances make it even harder.
Now, not only was Kimberly Knapp a defense attorney in Tarrant County, she was also a law professor at Texas Wesleyan University. Her funeral is set for Sunday and Monday, visitation and funeral. Sunday and Monday, she will be laid to rest in her hometown in Oklahoma.
Tomorrow morning, the FBI, Dallas Police, and the Sheriff's Office are expected to give more details about a series of raids conducted early this morning. Authorities say they were targeting a specific gang and a home they say was used as a base of operations to deal drugs and more. Arrests happened all across the city. Fox 4's David Centenary is in Dallas tonight with the story. David.
Yeah, Steve, like y'all said, it was a series of raids by the FBI, Dallas Police, and some other agencies. They say all these investigations are tied together, and the law enforcement strategy is part of a bigger picture plan. At first glance, this White House with red trim off Lee Crest Drive in Oak Cliff might not appear to be a drug house. The FBI, however, says it's the center of a large-scale drug trafficking operation, mostly cocaine, that's run by a gang. Federal agents raided the home Thursday morning.
It woke me up.
Neighbor Joanne Lakey Brown believes crime is out of control compared to when she first moved here in the 1960s.
We have a lot of gun shooting. Police would come out when you call them right away. Now when you call the police, it might be 4, 5, or 6 hours before one get out here.
The FBI says roughly 24 people are now facing federal charges related to drugs, weapons, and more after the feds hit roughly a dozen locations in Oak Cliff Thursday morning in collaboration with Dallas Police Department. Chief Eddie Garcia shared photos from another location. He says a violent, drug-dealing gang member was arrested here.
As a neighbor walking her dog, looks at us very quietly, just says thank you, and keeps walking. I mean, that makes your heart warm.
The raids revolve around a part of the department's violent crime reduction plan called Focused Deterrence. It begins with shutting down dangerous operations in partnership with local, state, and federal agencies. It then works with community partners to help anyone who may be at risk of getting caught up in trouble. Back at Lee Crest Drive,
I don't feel very secure.
Brown admits it's startling to hear of a suspected drug trafficking gang operation nearby. Still,
well, let me say it like this. I can take care of myself.
Confident in herself, but grateful for investigators who took action.
They know what's going on.
And again, that FBI press conference with Dallas Police will be at the FBI Dallas office tomorrow at 10 a.m. Steve, Heather, back to y'all.
Methodist Health System says the doctor shot and injured yesterday at a clinic in Cedar-Hill was well enough to be released from the hospital today. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. Cedar-Hill police revealed much more about the capture of the shooting suspect, including police video of the shootout itself. For the first time, police said the suspect fired the first shots and fired at officers first. And they believe he went to the clinic to harm his estranged girlfriend who works there. Fox 4's Rebecca Butcher joining us with more on the shooting investigation tonight. Rebecca.
Well, Steve, we now know the name of that suspected shooter. That's Brian McGee. He's still recovering here at the hospital behind me. Like you said earlier today, police showed and released body camera footage of the shootout between police and the suspect. Cedar-Hill police revealed on Wednesday that Tuesday's takedown of a shooting suspect on Beltline Road was a shootout. On Tuesday, police only released limited information about it and did not address whether the suspect fired at officers, which they now say he did.
Review of the in-car and body camera video shows that the suspect fired his weapon at officers, and then officers returned fire.
Cedar-Hill Police Chief Eli Riaz says the body camera video shows that as the confrontation starts, a gunshot hits the grass near an officer standing outside his SUV. The chief says 5 officers fired back at the gunman in the black Chrysler, now identified as 34-year-old Brian McGee of Glen Heights.
At one point, the suspect dropped his firearm on the ground and the shooting stopped. The suspect then picked up the firearm and the officers re-engaged the suspect to stop the threat.
Police were first called Tuesday about an active shooter inside a Cedar-Hill medical clinic. They say officers arrived and found a doctor wounded from a gunshot outside the building, and the officers saw a man with a long gun leaving in a black Chrysler. Chief Riaz now says it appears McGee, seen here in a mugshot from a previous arrest in 2017, went to the clinic to harm his estranged girlfriend, a staff member there.
His ex-girlfriend worked at the Methodist Family Health Center. McGee recently had made threats toward her, and this appears to be a planned attack.
The chief says he does not know yet if the doctor was shot inside or outside of the clinic, or whether McGee allegedly shot him because he was trying to protect the ex-girlfriend or for some other reason. 2 blocks from the clinic is where the black Chrysler was stopped. The chief says an undercover police pickup truck smashed into the back of the suspect's car, smashing in the trunk. Police say after the shootout, they found McGee had multiple guns.
At the scene, we recovered a semi-automatic rifle. We did also observe a shotgun and a pistol and some more ammunition inside the vehicle.
It's not clear yet, according to police, which weapon the suspect was using during the shootout. They charged him with attempted capital murder of a peace officer and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. McGee's prior criminal history includes misdemeanors for DWI and other charges, but no felonies or violent crimes. The chief seemed to get emotional when he was asked about how his officers performed.
I'm proud of him. It's not an easy thing to do. So it's going to be a tough situation for them at this time.
In the Methodist Health System, they released a statement saying that the doctor was released from the hospital earlier today, although they didn't give many details about him or his injury. Meanwhile, that suspect is still here in critical condition with charges pending, and those 5 officers involved in the shootout, well, they've been placed on standard administrative leave as this investigation continues. Steve, Heather?
All right, Rebecca, thank you.
Fort Worth police say a man arrested on a tampering with evidence charge for the death of a 12-year-old boy is seen on surveillance trying to clean up the scene and hide the gun used to kill the boy.
Last month, Fort Worth police say a 3-year-old who got a hold of a gun shot 12-year-old Trayshawn Ewens. The kids were at a Juneteenth barbecue. Police say DeCarlos Jordan is seen on camera mopping up blood and taking weapons out of the room where the shooting occurred. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke with Trayshawn's mother and joins us now live. Peyton.
Heather, and back on the night of the shooting, Fort Worth detectives found a single shell casing, but no gun. But now we're learning a 35-year-old man is accused of cleaning up the scene before investigators even arrived and stashed the handgun used to shoot Trayshawn.
You just have to fight and pull yourself together to make it through the rest of the day, but you're on the verge of tears all day.
For the past month, Lakeisha Bay has been begging for justice and accountability in the death of her youngest son, Trayshawn Ewens.
My heart breaks from morning to night.
The 12-year-old was killed when a 3-year-old got a hold of a loaded gun and accidentally fired it, striking Trayshawn. Trayshawn was staying with his father for the summer. The two went to a Juneteenth barbecue at a music studio inside a strip mall in Fort Worth.
This is someone that has been around Trey, that Trey calls them those guys, he calls them uncles.
This week, 35-year-old DeCarlos Jordan was charged with tampering with and removing physical evidence from the scene. According to an arrest affidavit Fox 4 obtained on Wednesday, Jordan was at the barbecue on June 19th. Jordan told officers he heard a loud pop from a different room but didn't know where the gun ended up. Fort Worth detectives checked surveillance cameras. Police say the footage showed Jordan walking into the room where Trayshawn was shot and then walking out with a handgun. It also showed him mopping up blood inside and outside the building. And it showed him also removing a rifle before taking off in a vehicle. Disturbing details Bay says she just learned Wednesday.
I don't even know what was going through their minds. Like, Trey is literally shot. Like, it was a big deal. Like, clearly an emergency. And the first thing on their minds was to cover their own tail.
At Cook Children's Hospital, police say Trayshawn's father told investigators Trayshawn was inside playing video games and he was outside grilling. After he heard a loud bang, he says Trayshawn stumbled into the parking lot holding his side and collapsed. Trayshawn's father took him to the hospital, where the 12-year-old later died.
We have reached a small goal, but the battle is nowhere near won, and that's what I'm focused on.
Now, it's still unclear who the handgun belonged to. According to the arrest affidavit we obtained today, another adult male was caught on surveillance moving items out of the room with Jordan. More charges are possible.